Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Look, man, I want to talk about this video that was sent to me a couple days ago, actually, and I haven't gotten really a chance around to look at it. And it's just an interesting video. I speak at schools. I don't get paid or anything like that. It's just things that as a hobby that I do. I've been through a lot in my life, and it was something that my brother got me into doing. Thought that it would be interesting for me to share my life story with the youth, and so I started doing it, and it took off. And so it's something that I just do not as a hobby. I feel like it's a duty. But so I got sent this video, and I'm always looking at different things and information to convey. And so this is a video about a gentleman by the name of Shawn Porter, 37 years old. I think he's 37 at the time of the incident. And this incident happened in 2016 in Buffalo, New York, where this gentleman was assaulted by not a police officer. Well, I guess he would be a police officer, but he was a jail attendant. So I don't think he was officially a police officer. I think he's a jail attendant, like almost like a CO or something like that. And this gentleman was he was abused. He was, I don't know if I want to go with the word beaten, but he was definitely abused and assaulted in more than one way. And it's interesting though because there was actually video footage of it. Obviously, at the incident, there was cameras all throughout the police station, and where this gentleman was taken at. And it took years to get them to release this footage. And in fact, the news there, and I think it's Channel 7 or what have you in New York. I'm not familiar with the news stations in New York, but they got wind of the situation, and the police footage, they felt as though it was public record and that they have the right to request that footage. And the not only did the police station refuse to give up the footage, but also the mayor refused to give up the footage. I don't know if it was election time or whatever the case may be, but he also refused to give up the footage. Just to kind of give like a little backdrop of it, it says in this video, Buffalo officials did not want the public to see this video as a cell block attendant grabs a handcuffed defendant from behind, throws him on the floor, while at that time it had hits the shelf, opening a gash on his face, and then the gentleman dragged him by his arms into a cell, and it's just bad all the way around. In addition to that, there were nearby police officers who could have interrupted the situation. Officer Joshua T. Craig and Anthony T. Agostino, but neither one did anything and stood there with smiles on their face. And for more than 2 years, the lawyers for Mayor Byron Brown and the police department, they fought diligently to prevent the New York News from getting this information. And it's interesting that they would go through that extent. And one of the things I found interesting in what I was reading is that they used a couple of excuses. One of them is that they kept certain videos private because they used them for training. And then the other one, which I thought was really interesting, was that they stated that they did not want the video to get out at the time because in the event that the incident went to trial, that they felt that the video was so graphic that it would sway jurors, that it would sway the jury. Are you serious? What? So anytime anybody commits a crime, if there's video, that video is used, like, what are you? I don't understand. But that was what they had came up with. Now, since then, the gentleman, a cell block attendant by the name of Matthew Jaskula, by the name of Matthew Jaskula. He was sentenced to 18 years. He was sentenced to 18 years in jail and wound up serving a year in jail. And also this brother here that was assaulted by the name of Shawn Porter was actually awarded $300,000. And so, that's just a brief backdrop on this. I believe this happened, May 19th of 2016. And so I just thought that was interesting just to give a little backdrop. But, we're going to get into this video and see what's really going on. All right, let's get it.
Yesterday. Okay, we're going to take you to the video right now. You see here Officer Anthony D'Agostino walk in, followed.
Real quick. Just want to touch on something real quick. The reason why you see me with this hoodie on is because, listen, man, being a homeowner is tough, man. I cut my heat on for the first time this season, and it didn't come on. Well, it actually came on, but it didn't stay on. It started blowing out cool air, not cool air, but it wasn't hot. I tell you, it wasn't warm. I tell you that. So I'm sitting here in a hoodie. And I got the people coming, the HVAC people come out tomorrow to get my heat situated. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. If you see me sitting in the hood, I'm telling you, like, woo, it's cold. All right, but anyway, man, I got space heaters and all that, so we good. But anyway, let's get it.
By Shawn Porter, you see him facing the wall there, and then you can see Officer Joshua Craig right here follows right behind him. Now take a look. This is Matthew Jaskula. He is the city lockup attendant. Closes that door and he makes sure that it's locked behind him. This is where it all starts. You see Jaskula grab Porter, toss him into this room. His shoulder busts through that door, and you see Officer Craig follow behind, laughing and smiling. Watch as he's tossed to the ground right here and dragged by his arms behind his back into a room. He's dragged feet throughout city lockup into another holding cell. And you can see here, we're going to show you another angle. As he's dragged into that holding cell, look at his head hit the door. Look at the blood you can see on the bottom right.
Wow. Wow, man. We're going to get into this, man. We're going to get into this. Wow.
And corner of your screen there as his face hits that wall. All right, he's being dragged into the cell now. You can see Jaskula start to pat him down as they start to remove his pants.
He's unconscious. He must have hit that wall. He must have hit that door hard. He's unconscious. Like, wow. Let's go, man. Let's go.
They toss his shoes out one by one into the hallway. Again, you see that pile of blood on the corner. And now he starts to pat him down. Look at him standing in his blood here. You see that from when he was dragged into the room on his face. They remove his pants next, and now they unhandcuff him. Look at them. He places his hands up on the wall in this holding cell before they put a separate set of handcuffs on him. And they're restraining him here. You see no fight. They're putting what looks like a spit guard over his mouth. You can see a little bit of blood if you look in the top left-hand corner. A little bit of blood.
The thing is, that's another thing too, man. I don't understand why the police go through these type of extents to degrade you as a man, as a human. It's like they take all of the humility out of the situation. I mean, they take all of the humility out of the situation. I mean, just to point out, too, just another I should have brought this up in the beginning. This gentleman was brought to the police station for a domestic incident. It wasn't assault. He didn't beat the woman or nothing like this. It was a domestic incident between him and his lady. I swear, if I know for a fact, if she knew that this is what he was going to have to go through down at that police station, she would have preferred not to call the police. Straight up like that. But this man wasn't trying to fight. He wasn't kicking. He wasn't punching. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't hollering. He wasn't headbutting. He wasn't spitting on nobody. He wasn't doing none of that. But yet you still have to degrade the man and put a spit mask on this man. For what? You got the man standing in his boxers. You took his shoes off. There's no jumpsuit prepared to put this man in. None of that. But, and I don't know what this is that they're graying out here that they don't want you to see on the screen. Obviously, they're graying out something here. I don't know what that's about. But I don't know, man. Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
on that spit guard. That's so that he can't spit at any officers. They drag him backwards out and sit him here. Look as they toss him down into this restraint chair. And now they're strapping his shoulders in one by one into this chair that's meant to hold them. And now they're working on his ankles, restraining his ankles in this chair. Again, he's sitting there, arms behind his back. Next, he's dragged into a different holding cell, and that chair is restrained in this holding cell. And now court documents show he was left here for over an hour. No medical attention, just sitting there. And now we're going to watch on a different angle. You can see as he's sitting in this room, you see one.
I don't know what the concoction is that they got there, that they got him hooked to that chair, but for some reason they don't want us to see that. They keep graying that out. I don't know if they just don't want people to see it and realize how to get out. I don't know what that's about, but I don't know. That's interesting.
2, 3, 4, 5 separate attendants and officers sitting there playing with their phones. Now he's being brought back out. You can see again, no shoes, no pants on him. But I do want to show you one exchange here. Watch as he's headed out. They're taking him to ECMC here. You see an exchange in the room. This woman, the top center of your screen, you can see her shaking her head. There's some sort of exchange. Officer Craig follows in closely behind. You see them exchange some words. She shakes her head as they take him out. And now court documents show they're walking him out here.
You know, that's crazy, man. Like, see, look, I mean, this man don't got no shoes on. He don't got no pants on. He don't got no socks on. They did take off the spit guard. But, I mean, look, man. See, this is why so many of us, including myself, this is why so many of us have a distaste for the police. This is why so many of us have a distaste and a distrust for the police. Because look, man, okay, let's get into this. Let's deal with it. I'm human. Just like this cell attendant is human. People can lose their cool, people can lose their temper and react. People have points in time where they can just break. No matter, I don't care if you're a police officer, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, I don't care if you are a father, a mother, whoever you are. People have things that can trigger you. I'm not justifying it by any means. You should not be in this position. You should not have this type of authority over people if you cannot conduct yourself in a professional manner, period. So I don't condone it in any shape, way, or form. But I say that to say this. Okay, this dude could have said something, and this dude might have tripped out. Maybe he going through something with his old lady, got put out, he's sleeping on the couch, or he's sleeping in his car, his kids. Maybe just found out that his old lady cheating on him with his cousin, or he just found out that his kid ain't his, and he got to come to work and do this duty because they telling him he don't got no time off because he been taking off work, because he's been sick. Whatever. And he snapped, right? He snapped. But those other 4 cops didn't. Those other 4 cops are mild-mannered. They're not even, they're not upset. They're not angry. But yet, they stood there and let it happen. They didn't step in and say, ho, man, this ain't right. This is what you doing. Ho, step out, man. Cool off. I got this. Nah, they didn't do that. It's the go along, get along gang. They went right with it. None of them was upset about that. None of them did nothing, and that is why we say, because we know not all cops are bad. We know that. I got cool cop friends. I live in a cop development. There's at least 20 cops in my development. And I've spoken to these guys. They didn't stop by my house before and let me know, hey, man, your garage is open up 3, 4 in the morning. I used to own a social club that we used to have little get-togethers and events and things like that at the night. I used to ride motorcycles. And the cops used to come by. We have little get-togethers out there, little, whatever. The cops will come through, hang out, eat a hot dog or 2, and be out. You know what I'm saying? So I know that there's not all bad, that all the cops are not bad. We're not saying that. Come on, man. We know all cops is not bad. We know that. But the reason why we say we don't trust cops is because we don't know which ones aren't bad because of situations like this. Because yes, you got a bad apple, or this man lost his cool, lost his temper, but what about you other 4 cops? And see, that's the issue. And that is the issue. And that will continue to be the issue in this country until other cops start stepping up, saying, nah, this ain't cool. This ain't right. When other cops start coming out on situations that aren't in the media, that's when you're gonna start seeing it change. When other cops are reporting other cops about situations and circumstances that aren't even in the media. They just going out and saying, hey, this is what's going on here. This is what I witnessed here. I've reported this to my chief, my boss several times, and it's still going on. Until we start seeing those type of actions being taken, man, you rest assured nothing's changing. Let's go.
To go to ECMC finally for treatment. Our attorney that worked for more than 2 years to get this video released calls this a victory for the First Amendment.
Finally, over an hour they said he sat there. Over an hour he sat there in his own blood, still leaking, mind you. That's why I'm gonna tell you what. That's why they took off the spit guard, because the spit guard had blood all over it. That's why they took it off. Yo, you sneaky mother bumba clots. That's why you took it off. Man, let's go.
This was a public record, and unfortunately, as we've seen with, too many things that the media considers a public record, the government doesn't think that way.
Jaskula pleaded guilty and the case never went to criminal trial, but Porter actually asked the judge for leniency in sentencing. He says his Christian beliefs call for forgiveness.
It really is hard to watch, Madison.
That's funny to me. That's funny to me. That's an oxymoron. See, that's funny to me. So he pleaded guilty. Of course he pleaded guilty. You know what I'm saying? Of course he pleaded guilty, but he also took a plea deal. But here's my thing. So he's saying his Christian beliefs. So that's why he's asking for leniency. No, my brother. If you really was a Christian, you would be staying there saying, listen, I'm sorry for what I did. I've asked God to forgive me. But Judge, I've broken the law, and whatever you feel as though it's just, I will accept that. I won't appeal it. I won't fight it. Whatever it is you say that I deserve, that's what I'm willing to accept. Period. That would be you accepting responsibility. That would be you accepting responsibility. But instead, you go in there playing games. Oh, I'm a Christian, and Judge, give me leniency and all of that. Nah, you just don't want to go in there and do. You don't want to go do 5-6 years. That's what it is. It's crazy. I'm shocked that they gave him 18 months. Now he did a year on the 18. He did a year on the 18 months. And in addition to that, Shawn Porter was awarded $300,000 for the incident, and and that was one of the things what they said. They said that now that the case is over and he was awarded the $300,000, and this guy did a year in jail. Now they feel like they can release the videotape. Well, of course, because now they can say like, oh, it's a slam dunk. We handled it. We did this. We did that to make it look like they just went ahead and handled the situation, not realizing this was drawn out for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Not realizing it was drawn out for 3 years. But we're just getting it. We're just getting it now. But anyway, let's go, man. Let's see what they're talking about.
Number of observations here. First, from the beginning until the very end, at no point do you see the inmate, Porter, resisting.
Yeah, we didn't see any resistance. I remember pointing out in that video, I don't know if you remember, where they took the handcuffs off of him. And he just put his hands up on the wall in the holding cell.
Right.
Obviously, you could see there's some exchange going on, some sort of conversation. But in the video we saw, there's about 19 minutes of it. Never saw any sort of physical aggression.
Yeah, and how many other attendants and Buffalo police officers were there? You see at the beginning of the video here, at least 2 Buffalo police officers there as Jaskula threw Porter into the door. Do we know, Madison, what's happened with them? Any discipline at this point?
So, Jeff, what we just found out from sources a few moments ago was that those 2 officers Craig and Diago.
Look, man, see, that's what I'm saying. No humility whatsoever. Listen, do you know how dangerous it is to throw a man down with his hands cuffed behind his back on that type of floor? For him to land, he could have landed and hit his face, lost his teeth, He could have landed the wrong way, hit his head. Anything could have possibly happened. But you threw that man down with no humility, no care in a world for that man's well-being whatsoever. Whatsoever. Like you had no concern for him whatsoever. You just threw him down and like he was like I don't understand. I really don't understand like what possess he might when that man walked into that room, he walked straight to the wall, put his face up against the wall like you're asking to. Yeah, he might have said something slick, might have talked, might have said, whatever the case may be, but that don't cause for you to react that way. And even if you're going to react that way, why are the other cops not intervening? Because they clearly wasn't upset by what he said, not to the extent that this cop was. So I don't understand, man. Let's go.
They were suspended without pay for 30 days while they investigated this. Then the department found no evidence to support criminal charges. Now those two officers, they have been returned to full duty as of today.
Okay. Yesterday we reported, and you touched on this at the beginning, that the city of Buffalo has agreed to a $300,000 settlement with Shawn Porter. What about Jaskula? Where is he at?
So Jaskula, again, he pleaded guilty, so this never went to criminal trial, and he was sentenced to 18 months in prison. We do know today that he has been released from prison, and that's all we know. We're working to find out what he's been doing since his release at this point.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Video watch.
It sure is.
Man, a lot of people, man, talk about, how, will say, oh man, it's not that many. Y'all make it seem like it's this, it's that. Y'all make it seem like it's happening only to black people and so forth and so on. What you have to understand is this. Before there were smartphones, before 2007, it was very, very rare that we would get national press because prior to smartphones, we weren't connected in the media. Now we're the East Coast is connected to the West Coast connect. Do you really think that Rodney King was the one and only police brutality incident? Do you think that was the first time that it ever happened and then it didn't happen again until Michael Brown? Like, do you think that that's really what happened? No. See, what transpired. So let me tell you. I grew up in Jersey. And where I grew up at, we were used to getting harassed and beat up by the cops and smacked by the cops. And things that it was part of our growing up. That was part of our culture and our environment. We didn't report it to the cops. We didn't go to the cops and try to press charges and try to get Jesse Jackson and all them down. We didn't do that because it was nothing. If you got to court for whatever your incident was, it'd be like, yeah, judge, and the cop hit me and he did this, and it wouldn't even be an afterthought. Where I grew up at, it was up until I forget when they changed the law, but it was legal for them to profile. It was literally legal. It was literally legal for them to profile you. You know how many times I got snatched out my car and laid down on the cold concrete with my hands behind my back while they searched my car and found nothing? You know what I mean? It was just the way it was. It was just the way it was. But now that we are connected through the media, now it's getting national press now. So when I look at a video like this, I'm not just looking at this gentleman here and saying, man, that's messed up what they did to his brother Shawn Porter. No, when I watch this video, in my mind, I think about the thousands of others that this has happened to, that they got no justice. Nobody said nothing about that went without saying. And it still happens to this day. There's still others that's not caught on camera. You understand what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, when I watch these videos and when we watch these videos as a whole, that's what we're thinking about. We're not just looking at the one incident. We're thinking about the thousands of others. We're thinking about our own personal incidents that we didn't have. I remember one time my brother picked me up from the skating ring, right? Picked me up from the skating ring. I made about 12 years old, somewhere around there. And the cops got my brother out the car and started beating my brother, punching him while they had him handcuffed, right? And they started punching my brother. I went crazy. I jumped out the car. Of course, I'm trying to protect my brother. You know what I mean? Like the way they doing him, it was just crazy. You understand? And a cop picked me up from behind and choked me out until I passed out on the ground and just dropped me there. And my brother was going crazy. And the more crazy he went, the more beating he got. You know, like it was crazy. But, and guess what? We never reported that. That never went to court or nothing like that. We never even thought in our mind that this was police brutality. This was just another incident. This is another day in the life. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people don't understand. They don't understand the deep-rooted hurt, the PTSD that we've been dealing with for years behind circumstances like this. And you know, it's just it's just a shame, man, to see that these type of things are still happening and will continue to happen. And it will continue to happen. Like I said, it will continue to happen until other police start stepping up and calling out the bad ones. I mean, and I'm not talking about like not just when an incident happens that's in national media and then you decide, let me do the right thing. No, I'm talking about period. Things that you know about, things that you saw that you know hasn't been recorded. Reporting those and having charges brought up on those and then going to the media about it. But until those type of things happen, man, this is always going to be something that we're going to have to deal with. It's just life, man. It's just part of what it is. I mean, I do believe that we have made some strides. We have made some changes. They are police now that do think about things before they do things, whether they think about it from a moral standpoint or if they're thinking about it from a legal standpoint, whatever the case, I don't care. I just don't want to let it happen. Just don't let it happen. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, man, listen, man, I'm out of here, man. Peace, blessings, and y'all be good, man. Be good to each other. All right, I'm out. Peace.